Let's make a transition here to talk about some new aces in new places. We've seen a lot of guys move this offseason, whether it be trade, signings. Let's go through what has happened so far, and then we'll talk about the impact. So Corbin Burnes made his first start with the Orioles. I believe he didn't have the best spring. Well, goes into a regular season game, 11 punch outs, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, no walks. Looked like Corbin Burnes to me. Dylan Cease went 4 2/3, 2 earned runs, couple walks, 6 strikeouts. Tyler Glasnow has made 2 starts now, giving up 3 runs, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, not the best first start. We all know that he struggled in Korea, but he came back stateside, pitched in front of Dodgers fans for the first time. 5 scoreless, 2 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. And then kind of a de facto ace, Marcus Stroman. Nice first start for him. He went 6 scoreless in his debut with the Yankees. Of all those guys, who stands out to you as far as the ace that's going to have the biggest impact this year?
Well, I mean, Corbin Burnes seems like he has to be that guy. But hearing you read that list of names and hearing the questions surrounding this, I think Marcus Stroman really jumps out at me because the first 4 guys on that list, from Burnes, Cease, Yamamoto, and Glasnow, they all got to pitch in front of the home crowd. Whereas Marcus Stroman is going in there at Minute Maid Park against those very loud and boisterous Houston Astros fans and getting his first taste of Yankees baseball, that tradition, being a part of that evil empire as it, still maintains to be, over the last 20 plus years. And for him to go out and to throw a shutout in that kind of environment when their true ace, their number one, Garrett Cole, is on the shelf for a while, that signing becomes even that much more pivotal. And Marcus Stroman is the kind of guy that wants to be that ace and wants to be the one that says, hey, when we go out there, whether it's the wild card round or the division series, or even when it comes time for the World Series, if we're still in it, I want that ball in game 1. Because I want to go out there and be the best pitcher on my team and the best pitcher in the game. So I think Stroman is kind of an outlier for that reason, doing it on the road and doing it for a rotation that really needs him to be that. So I think that was probably the most impressive of all the guys, of all the new aces and new places.
Marcus Stroman, I got to watch him firsthand for a couple years when he pitched for the Mets, and it's hard to find another guy that's more fun to watch. I mean, for one, he's like a shortstop on the pitcher's mound, the way he plays defense, which I always love to see. But he brings just a certain level of energy every time he steps on the mound. And he's not, we look at the list of guys we just talked about, by far, he is the least talented. I hate to say it about Marcus Stroman, but that's just the reality. He doesn't have the stuff that these other guys have. But he competes at a really high level. And you're right, when it comes to not only just the shoes he's trying to fill, but also in the season that he's trying to fill them, the Yankees need to win right now. And Marcus Stroman was sort of this fallback, right? That they wanted Yoshinobu Yamamoto, didn't land him. Blake Snell was too expensive. Jordan Montgomery was too expensive. So they signed Marcus Stroman, and the market kind of spoke against Stroman. People didn't really want to sign him. I mean, you look at what he's done in his career. Why is Eduardo Rodriguez getting a much better contract than Marcus Stroman? It doesn't necessarily make sense. And here he is shoving against the Astros of all teams in his first start. Yeah, he really did stand out this weekend.
Yeah, very, very impressive. I think if we're just looking at the traditional ways of looking at statistics of this group, who's maybe most likely to win a Cy Young Award, I think he was one of the favorites too in the American League. Corbin Burnes going out there on opening day, a whole new world for Baltimore. Of course, they won the East last year, but that was their coming out party. This was now, okay, we are the new Baltimore Orioles with our new ownership, going out and buying beers for everybody out at bars all around Baltimore and what have you, going out there with that crowd on opening day against an Angels lineup that did have Mike Trout. Okay, he got himself the first opening day home run of the season, at least in the U.S. But Burnes to go out there with 11 strikeouts. I mean, he immediately said, look, get on my back, guys. I'm the number 1 starter. 2 through 4, you guys figure it out. That rotation is in really safe hands with Corbin Burnes right now.
And I really hope that this is more than a 1-year thing. With new ownership, you would think that they might be able to actually lock Burnes up. And if they have a great season, he might want to stay. But regardless, this is going to be a year where Corbin Burnes can make himself a lot of money on top of it all. And talk about just the perfect situation to do that. I mean, he goes to a ready-made winner. He's got a ridiculous lineup behind him. He's got some good defenders behind him to a young team that can really help him on that front. Corbin Burnes right now, I mean, I don't know. You said he is the favorite, but I don't know who else could possibly challenge him this year in the AL. I mean, Kevin Gausman's always up there. There's a lot of names, but yeah, Corbin Burnes to be the Cy Young in his 1 year, at least for the Orioles, I think that's a realistic possibility. And he showed it in that first start for sure.
Yeah, he would be one of those few guys, just like Blake Snell, to win a Cy Young award in both leagues, having won it with the Brewers, I want to say in 2021. So yeah, he was really great and jumped out on that opening day start. It was weird for Glasnow to basically get a second opening day start, right? He looked even better than in Korea with 6 strong innings there, only giving up 1 run against a Cardinals lineup that had the veteran presence, but just hasn't really been able to figure it out, quite that much. So he's been really solid. And there are 2 guys that are aces in new places that we haven't seen yet. We're kind of waiting to find out in Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. And I think coincidentally, both of them are going to make their first starts with the team in San Francisco. I know that the expectation for Jordan Montgomery is April 19th in San Francisco with the Diamondbacks. So there's a few more that are knocking on the door here for us, Ryan, saying, "Wait a minute, don't make your decision just yet about these aces in new places."
Yeah, it's going to be great to see everyone get into the fold, and those guys obviously getting the late start. And that NL West has just pitching all over the place. Snell going from Padres to the Giants, Dylan Cease coming in. So it really did kind of infuse some juice into that division as far as what it's going to look like throughout the season. Last thing on the new aces before we move on. I'm curious, who do you think is going to turn into the ace of this Dodgers team? Everyone expected Yoshinobu Yamamoto, being the highest paid pitcher in baseball now, to just hit the ground running and be the new ace of the Dodgers. And Tyler Glasnow is this guy that we've never really seen it fully realized, right? We've seen it in spurts. He's huge. He has nasty stuff. You watch him pitch in a single start, you're like, yeah, that guy, no one can throw the ball better than him. Is this the year? Does he go to the Dodgers and all of a sudden he's actually healthy and post up for 30 plus starts and give them 200 innings and 220 strikeouts? Is Glasnow going to actually be the ace of the Dodgers, even though all the hype was really attached to Yamamoto?
I wouldn't want to bet against Glasnow for that, right? You set the stage here perfectly. I wouldn't want to bet against him, but knowing his history of what it is, it also wouldn't surprise you if he were to get injured.
Yeah.
Yamamoto, highest paid pitcher in the history of the game already, before he'd even thrown that first pitch. We're still waiting to see where his ceiling is at. If he's, kind of mid 3s in the ERA or even low 3s, you're like, hey, that's really solid, but that's not the best pitcher in the game right now. I think maybe a sleeper pick that wouldn't surprise you. Might be more of a long shot than Yamamoto and Glasnow, but a kind of a sleeper pick that, again, wouldn't surprise you if he became this ace of the team right away, is Bobby Miller. He shoved for 6 shutout innings right away. And in an organization where the Dodgers seem to just bring these guys in and into the Dodger way, more with the starting rotation than anywhere else. And if Bobby Miller went out and started doing some of those things that we saw from Walker Buehler early on in his career, I don't think that would be so shocking.
And the funny thing is, Walker Buehler on the way back too, and looked great apparently in his first rehab start as he tries to make a return at some point. Doesn't seem like he'll be out too long, as they're just kind of bring him along a little bit slower. They want him to be ready probably to pitch in the playoffs. And look, that's a nasty rotation, especially when you remember that Clayton Kershaw still around, and every time that he ends up on a baseball field, he pitches to a sub 2.5 ERA. So that's where this Dodgers team can really go to a different place than everybody else. There's so much talent in house. Just a matter of who's going to be healthy when it matters. But man, that rotation can be really, really scary.